No, that's a total lie. You can clearly see the Gerudo signs on his earrings and clothing, so he must be Ganondorf.
But have you seen the tapestry? You can see a character on it that looks just like him, so maybe he's actually here to help. Whoa, calm it down, everyone. It's gonna be fine. You don't have to take it that seriously, it's a game after all. However, it's certainly an interesting topic. Who's this new character seen in the trailer of Breath of the Wild, the sequel? Is he really Ganondorf, or any other type of villain, like the mice, for example? Or could he possibly be an ally in a way? Well, let's find out. Now, a couple of days ago, we finally saw the Nintendo Direct for E3, and in this one, we got a number of surprises. First of all, the Banjo-Kazooie bombshell that surprised everyone who was watching this presentation, because no one thought Microsoft would ever give Nintendo the rights. And after this, I was really curious what could actually beat this. So naturally, Nintendo gave me a heart attack by showing off the new Zelda gameplay trailer. It's currently being developed for the Nintendo Switch and is a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild, but we don't have a release date yet. The idea of creating a direct sequel came from the fact that Eiji Aonuma, producer of Breath of the Wild, wanted to revisit the same Hyrule while incorporating a new story and gameplay mechanics. And interestingly enough, when asked about cooperative gameplay or Zelda being a playable character, Aonuma commented that he cannot tell. All of this already shows off that this sequel is gonna be quite different from a lot of other Zelda games, but there's more to it. Because when speaking to IGN, Aonuma said that, despite the darker tone of the Breath of the Wild sequel, it's not necessarily connected to or inspired by Majora's Mask. He said, the new Breath of the Wild, or the sequel to it, is not necessarily going to be related to Majora's Mask or inspired by it, but what we showed you currently is a little darker. Thanks to all of this, a lot of people have been speculating about a lot of weird things. Because anything is possible, since it's gonna be quite different from the previous title. And so people started to create the wildest theories in the world, with some saying that this new corpse fella is actually a villain, and the others saying that he could be a new ally. In order to figure out what the answer is, we're going to look at both points to see which one is most likely. First up, the trailer itself was very weird, dark and mysterious, showing us Link and Zelda going through what looks like some sort of old crypt. Eventually, they stumble upon a corpse suspended in the air, surrounded by some sort of green bluish magic being held up by a hand. Then we see a bunch of flashes of what happened before and after Link and Zelda found it, telling some sort of a story. So let's analyze all of this first from a villain perspective. Why would this weird unknown floating corpse be evil? Well, one thing that stands out right away is all the clothing and accessories he wears branded with a very familiar mark. The crest of the Gerudo, a recurring symbol in the Zelda series which is frequently seen in connection with the Gerudo tribe, and the crest depicts the back of a king cobra. This is a clear sign that it's connected to this well-known tribe, and all of us know what this means. Ganondorf. Because a single male Gerudo is born into the tribe every 100 years, and is destined by Gerudo law to become their king. And the only Gerudo male to have appeared in the series is Ganondorf. So it must be him, right? Well, yes, most likely. However, Nintendo's breaking a lot of their old rules, so they might throw us off here. But personally, I would say that it's Ganondorf. But this isn't the only argument for the villain theory, because he's also covered in malice and spreads it throughout the place, which we even see in the trailer as well. This is yet again a big hint that he's evil instead of good, because we all know malice. This stuff corrupts and destroys everything. We have seen this time and time again in the original Breath of the Wild, taking over Hyrule Castle and the Divine Beasts, causing mayhem. Yet again, a strong point adding to the evil bad guy theory. His look also adds to this, because if you look at his eyes, you can see that even in the inside, he's corrupted by malice. Yet again, a strong point adding to the evil bad guy theory. His entire design tells us one thing: evil. He looks like some sort of cursed mummy, waiting to be set free by some idiot adventurer. He even aggressively confronts you at the end of the trailer by looking at you with its fiery red eyes exploding with malice. The fact that he seems to be sealed away, unable to escape, doesn't help as well. It clearly shows us, the viewers, that he shouldn't be set free and was kept there for a reason. Most likely so he couldn't ever hurt the world again, although if it's really Ganondorf, then he was still powerful enough to create a dark entity like Calamity Ganon, using his hatred. We even saw that beast come out of Hyrule Castle, which is exactly where this corpse is found as far as we can see in the trailer. Even the flash shadow shot that we see in this footage adds to the bad guy argument, because he looks a lot like Ganondorf himself with that huge nose. So really, this theory has a lot going for it. Personally, I think it's very likely that this was Ganondorf's body from a long time ago being sealed away here. Even when you analyze the music in the trailer and play it backwards, you can kind of hear that it's similar to the first Zelda game's game over music. Someone on Twitter found this, but sadly enough I don't remember their name anymore, so I can't really credit that person. But it's certainly interesting and would add to the whole villain theory. Could this demonic looking thing actually be an ally or hero of sorts in the beginning of the game, or even in the long run? Well, possibly. There are a number of reasons why this could actually be a thing. And the first point we have to look at is seen in the cutscene of the original Breath of the Wild. It's when you talk to Impa for the first time after your 100-year slumber. She retells the tale of 10,000 years ago when Zelda and a hero stopped the Great Calamity, which is shown on the tapestry. Now, when you look at all of this, you will see one very interesting thing. The hero doesn't look like Link at all. Actually, when you compare him with the corpse we find, you can see they look similar to an extent. So it might be that this old hero was screwed over in the end when he defeated the Calamity, became corrupted, and was sealed away as well in the process. Personally, I don't think this is a bad argument at all, because he does look a lot like it. So maybe we will be setting him free this game in order to rescue him. A game where we find the old hero from 10,000 years ago and cleansing him of the Dark Malice curse. I have no idea how we would do this, but I bet it would be similar to how we got rid of it in the Divine Beasts. Sure, he still looks a lot like Ganondorf, is covered in Gerudo symbols and looks really evil, but it's possible. It could even be that we will be trying to free him from the Demise curse to end it once and for all. Although I'm really uncertain about this. But he could also be someone else. Sure, he seems to be Gerudo, but Nintendo has been breaking rules left and right. So maybe this isn't Ganondorf at all, but someone else. Now, what his role would be is unknown, but it could be anything and would make the game interesting for sure. But I can already hear the comment section on this one.
Wily, what about the flash shadow bit where we see it being grabbed by the hand? This shows he's evil, right?
Well, not really. Sure, he gets attacked by this hand and was sealed away by it as far as we can see, but we have no context. We can just see he was grabbed and now he's kind of stuck there. This doesn't necessarily mean he was the villain in this story. It might look like this, but remember, Nintendo loves to confuse us and can be a bit vague or even wrong in terms of storytelling. Just look at the timeline placement of Breath of the Wild, which is basically everywhere since all the previous titles are mentioned. So we can't be certain of anything. Now, here we are. After looking at all these points, is he a villain or a possible hero? Well, personally, I think he's the bad guy of the story, and actually Ganondorf from 10,000 years ago. And Calamity Ganon from Breath of the Wild was just his puppet. I came to this conclusion when discussing it all with Commonwealth Realm and Zeltec at E3. However, we can't be certain. Remember when we were all speculating about the original Breath of the Wild and we were stunned when they showed off all the Sheikah Tech stuff that no one saw coming? Well, all of that could happen again. Nintendo could have some big surprises in store for us, and only time will tell. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to watch more videos, then be sure to click those lovely annotations on the screen right now. I also made a couple of other videos about the new Breath of the Wild sequel, and they will be on the channel, a little analysis and a reaction. So go have a look at that. And I also covered Link's Awakening HD for the Switch, so also check that out. Yay! Subscribe, click the bell button, comment, like, do all the things.